1990 yılında Merter'de Keresteciler sitesinin göbeğinde bir bina yaptık. İş yaşamından bahsediyorum. Ve orası Keresteciler sitesiydi o zaman. Ama 2 yılda tekstil üretimi oldu. 6-7 yıl sonra tekstil üreticileri oradan kalktılar, başka bir yere gittiler. Bir anda orası depolara dönüştü. Yani ürün depolarına, konfeksiyon depolarına. Şimdi ise yurt dışından gelen insanların ürün satın aldıkları showroom'a dönüşen yerler oldu. Bunun gibi İstanbul'da yüzlerce örnek verebiliriz. Yani nereye bakılıyordu, bir anda nereye döndü? 180 derece. Ya bu kadar hızlı değişmemeli.
Yani geçmişin kurumlarında, devlet yapısında, devletin bir planlama anlayışıyla yönetildiğini görüyoruz aslında. Buna dair o dönemin koşullarına ilişkin kurumlar da üretmiş.
Yani bunun en iyi örneği Devlet Planlama Teşkilatı'dır. Yani Devlet Planlama Teşkilatı'nın lağvedilmesi aslında hem fiili bir önemi var Türkiye açısından ama aynı zamanda sembolik olarak da bir planlı gelişme gibi bir takım anlayışları ne yazık ki tasfiye etti Türkiye'de.
Geçmiş dönemde de İstanbul Büyükşehir Belediyesi bünyesinde İstanbul'un 1/100.000 ölçekli çevre düzeni planının yapılması için bir takım kurumsallaşma deneyimleri oldu. İşte İstanbul Metropoliten Planlama gibi. Ama sonrasında kapatılmış, yok edilmiş. Aslında planlama kültürü Türkiye'de ve İstanbul'da yok edilmiş.
Başarısızlıkla sonuçlandı. Ürünleri başarısızlıkla sonuçlandı. Yapılar başarısızlıkla sonuçlandı. O sonuçlanmasının sebebi ne kadrolarıydı, ne uzmanlarıydı, ne çalışanlarıydı. O başarısızlığın sebebi mevcut siyasi iktidardı.
Mesela bir plan çalışması yapılıyor ve o plan bittiği noktada o planla hiç ilgisi olmayan çok temel kararlar o planları devre dışı bırakacak biçimde alındı. Ve sonrasında da tümüyle terk edildi zaten o planlama perspektifi.
Bugün maalesef yasal mevzuatın çok çabuk ortadan kaldırılabileceği, değiştirilebileceği veya uyulmazsa da bir şey olmayacağı bir dönemde yaşıyoruz. Oysa devlet böyle yürütülemez.
Yani devletin de hataları var. Yani devlet kurumlarının da eksikleri, hataları oldu. Ama bu son siyasi süreç her şeyi ezdi. Yani devleti ezdi, ezdirdi. Siyasi hatları ezdirdi, siyasi kurumları ezdirdi. Yani ukala bir siyasi, kibirli bir siyasi hat oluştu. Herkese karşı, vatandaşa, üreticiye, tüketiciye, sanayiciye, ya kendi yandaşı iş insanına bile.
Bir kentin karar alma mekanizmalarını demokratikleştiremediğiniz takdirde kentin geleceğini yok edersiniz. Bu kent 20 yıldır geleceği yok edildi. Geçmişi de çok yüksek bir tahribat altında.
İstanbul'un geleceği belli değil. İstanbul 3. Havalimanı'nı Silivri'de konuşuyordu 2009'da. Fazla değil 3-4 yıl sonra bura mı diye tombala çekildi. Bir anda birkaç kişinin bildiği usulle İstanbul'un kuzeyine Arnavutköy sınırlarının içerisinde bir yere havalimanı başlandı.
Tabii İstanbul diğer metropollerden çok farklı bir metropol. Yani gerçekten İstanbul dünya bir ülke olsaydı başkenti İstanbul olurdu. Bunu böyle bir yerden söylemiyoruz. Serdiğimizde ortaya çıkan tablo bu zaten.
İstanbul çok tabii hepimizin bildiği kadim bir şehir, yani 1000 yılların şehri ama maalesef özellikle kentteki mega projelerle kentin kuzeye doğru gitmesi kuzey ormanlarını büyük bir tehdit altında bıraktı. Tarım alanlarının çok ciddi oranda kaybolmasına yol açtı. Su havzalarının kaybedilme riskini şu anda taşıyor.
Bir yandan yeni nesil gelişiyor. İnanılmaz paylaşımcı, inanılmaz şeffaflık arzusu olan, yani anında bilgiyi yollayan, anında bilgi isteyen. Bir yanda her şeyi ben bilirim diyen bir avuç insan. Şimdi bu kakofoni çok kötü bir yere getirir bizi. Yani bir uçurumdan aşağı toplu düşüş gibi bir şey yaşarız. Böyle yani çok hızlı gittiğini zanneden bir toplum bir anda patır patır patır kocaman bir uçurumdan aşağı düşer.
Korkunç bir yetki karmaşası bu kentle ilgili. Korkunç bir geleceksizlik. Biz İstanbul'un 5 yıl sonrasında ne olacağını, nerede olacağını, nüfusu ne olacağını, kentsel yerleşkesinin ne olacağını hiçbir şeyi bilmiyor ve görmüyorduk. Dolayısıyla İstanbul'un yapısına uygun, İstanbul'un karar süreçlerine uygun, İstanbul'un mevcut bulunduğu duruma en uygun neyi yapabiliriz diye düşündüğümüzde İstanbul Planlama Ajansı çıktı karşımıza.
İPA'nın ortaya çıkış süreci aslında geçtiğimiz seçimden önce bir vaatin gerçekleşmesi aslında bu.
İstanbul Planlama Ajansı yeni nesil bir belediyeciliğin, yeni nesil bir siyasetin en sert dönemdeki inat ispatıdır. Bunun da esas mimarı, lütfen bunu bir başkan bürokratı olarak söylediğimi düşünün. Bir şehir plancısı ve bir İstanbul olarak söylüyorum. Esas mimarı Ekrem İmamoğlu'dur. Çünkü çok ciddi bir siyasi irade var arkamızda.
Bu millet bizi seçmiştir. Yolumuz uzun, heyecanımız yüksek. Gençliğimiz var, gençliğimiz var. Biz adalete susamış, demokrasiye inancından Türk gençliğiyiz.
İPA benim hayalim. Ama bu hayal tabii keşke mükemmeli aramak olsa. Ortada bir gelecek tarifinin olmadığı bir sürecin tanımlanma ihtiyacından doğan bir kavram, planlama ve İstanbul Planlama Ajansı.
Göreve geldikten sonra da bu nasıl yapılanacak diye kendi aramızda konuşmaya, tartışmaya başladık. Derken İstanbul Planlama Ajansı kurulmuş oldu. Sembolik anlamda da Florya'da kurulmuş oldu.
Biz mesela daha merkezi bir yerde olması gerektiğini başkana çok ısrarla söyledik. İnsanların gelmesi gitmesi kolay olur diye ısrarcı olduk. Ama başkan bu konuda ısrarcıydı.
Niye Florya oldu? Şöyle, aslında ben oradan hiç haberim yoktu, açık söyleyeyim. 5 yıllık Beylikdüzü Belediye Başkanı iken de haberim yoktu. Bir baktık ki burada 13 tane ev var. Tabii kocaman bir alan. 80 bin metrekare.
Kampüse ilk geldiğimde o zaman başkanlık konutuna girmiştik. İlk toplantımızı orada gerçekleştirmiştik ve eski dönemin bıraktığı eşyalar, o altın varaklı masalar, sandalyeler orada duruyordu. Kadife perdeler, varaklı koltuklar, şark köşeleri vardı.
Yani gerçekten komik manzara vardı. İşte üstü açılan bir havuz. Tabii herkes kendi özel alanını yaratmış. Herkesin evini keyfine göre yapmış, tadil etmemiş, yapmış, büyütmüş. Bunlar belediye başkanı. Yani dikkatini çekelim.
Herkes kendi zevkine göre ev yapmaya başlamış. Yani kimi iki katlı yetinmemiş, bir de çatı arası triplex yapmış. Giriş yapmış, sonra huyun gözü kör olsun girişin etrafını kapatmış. Yani bir kaçak bir yer yapmış kendisine. Bu lojmanların olduğu yerin etrafında bir duvar var. Bir de bu 70-80 bin metrelik alanın etrafında, kendi güvenlik duvarının etrafına bir güvenlik duvarı daha çekmişler. Yani o koruma hattı, ben yıkılma yıl dönümüne gittim Berlin duvarının. Orada gözlemledim. İnanın öyle bir koruma hattı Berlin duvarında yoktu yani. Yani vatandaştan kendini koruyan yönetici. Ya bu kötü bir şey yani. Bu çok kötü bir şey. Ve bu haksızlık. 16 milyon İstanbul diye haksızlık.
Bugün sizle konuştuğumuz havuz daha önce sadece AK Parti belediye başkanlarının lojman olarak oturduğu bir alanın, 10 dönümlük bir alanın yüzme havuzu. Bugün burada çalıştaylar yapılıyor. Bugün burada üniversiteler ders yapıyor. Açık dersler yapıyorlar. Yani tasarım dersleri, mimarlık dersleri. Dolayısıyla aslında o siyasi öngörü buraya attı İPA'yı ve kurduğumuz tüm cümleleri mekanda da bir özetini gösterdi.
Yani bir anda içi su dolu, birkaç kişinin yüzdüğü, keyif yaptığı bir havuzdan bir anda bir bilgi havuzuna, bir ayda bile binlerce insanın toplandığı, fikirlerini anlattığı, fikirlerin dinlenildiği bir havuza dönmüş olması.
Şimdi herhalde eskiden kalan bir tavuklar kaldı burada. Bütün hafıza onlarda. Bir de işte buradaki mekansal bazı yapılar duruyor. Özellikle de durması güzel.
Bu aslında bir reform mücadelesi aynı zamanda. Var olan da çok değişmesi gereken hususları yapmaya gayret ediyoruz. Bugün yapılması gerekeni engellemeye çalışanlara karşı da mücadele veriyoruz. O bakımdan bu aslında çok kıymetli bir reform dönemi.
Gösterilen siyasi irade şunu söyledi. Biz İstanbul İttifakı ile geldik buraya. İstanbul'da bir değişim istiyorum, İstanbul'un geleceğini görmek istiyorum dedi ve bu fırsatı başkanı seçerek başkana verdi. Burayı aldı ve dönüp büyük, ağır, hantal, 85 bin çalışanı olan ve 20 yıldır başka bir anlayışla yönetilen bir icra makinesiyle bunları yaptı, yapmaya çalıştı, inat etti. Bazen siyasete rağmen inat etti, bazen bürokrasiye rağmen inat etti ve gerçekleştirdi. İstanbul'a bir kurum hediye edildi.
İstanbul'da düşündüğümüz planlama ajansı çok değerli. Ben hatta iddia ediyorum dünyada örneği yok. Dünyada örneği yok. Evet, gelecek vizyonu tartışan mekanizmalar, platformlar var. Hatta işbirliği içerisindeyiz o şehirlerle. Ama böyle bir örnek yok. Çünkü biz derin bir ihtiyaçtan bir şeyi doğuruyoruz. Yani onların yakaladığı yerin çok gerisinden başlıyoruz ama o durdukları yerin çok ötesine geçmek zorundayız. Çünkü eksiğimiz çok.
Bugün yaşadığımız müsilaj sorunundan tutun, çevre felaketine, ekonomimizde ortaya çıkan bir takım bazı sektörlerde oluşan büyük açıklar karşısında bazı diğer sektörlerde istihdam fazlasının olması vesaire gibi şeyler tümüyle bir plansızlık işi. Onun için arkadaşlarımız çağrına da hiç tereddüt etmeden yani katıldım bu çalışmalara. Çünkü Türkiye'nin gerçekten hani dinamik, toplumla buluşan, toplumu dinleyen ama onunla bilimi, uzmanlığı bir araya getiren bir yaklaşıma ihtiyacı var. Yani bunun yapılabileceği şu anda yegane yer olarak da İstanbul Planlama Ajansı görünüyor.
Burası 5 birimden oluşuyor. İstatistik Ofisimiz, Vizyon 2050 Ofisi, Sosyal Politikalar Ofisi, İPA Enstitüsü ve Kamusal Tasarım Ofisi'nden oluşan 5 ana birim var. Bir çalışmayla ilgili veriye ihtiyacımız olduğunda ilk başta İstatistik Ofisi sahaya çıkıyor ve katı yöntemiyle bize veriyi topluyor. Sosyal Politikalar Ofisi eş zamanlı olarak derinlemesine görüşmeler gerçekleştiriyor. İPA Enstitüsü bu konuda çalışan uzmanlardan görüşleri topluyor. Eğer bu konu mekana değen bir konuysa mekansal katkıyı Kamusal Tasarım Ofisi üzerinden alıyoruz. Gün sonunda da Vizyon 2050 Ofisi kente dair eylem ve stratejileri oluşturuyor bu çalışmalar sonunda.
Devletin böyle bir akla, böyle bir kurumsal hafızaya ve yapıya ihtiyacı var. Ve tabii ki bunun günün koşullarına göre yenilenmesi, yapılanması lazım. Planlama ajansı da biraz böyle bir şey aslında.
Bu kentin geleceğine ilişkin bir yol haritasını çıkarırken kentin adımlarını, kentin kararlarını, kentin aktörleriyle beraber kentin karar alma süreçlerini demokratikleştirebileceğimiz, demokratik bir çatı yaratabileceğimiz bir ortak akıl mekanizması.
İPA'nın mottosu olan akılcı, bilimsel veriye dayalı çalışmalar yapmak, katılımcı mekanizmalar üretmek aslında bu yönetim modelini oluşturmak üzerine bir kurgu.
Şuraya gelince insan tekrar umutlanıyor. Yani İstanbul'a dair umutlanıyor, geleceğe dair umutlanıyor. Burada şimdi kampüste dolaşınca böyle bir sürü genç görüyorsunuz. Ya bunlar kim diyorsunuz? İşte bilmem ne üniversitesinden biz burada geldik, atölye yapıyoruz. İşte bizim bir ofisimizle beraber, enstitüyle beraber bir çalışma yürütüyorlar. Şimdi gelecek
Ya
burada.
şu an mesela
umut
İlkan
burada.
Başkan
Yani
konuşuyor.
buradan bir akıl çıkacak ve
Ama İlkan-
İstanbul daha iyi, daha güzel, daha adil, daha yeşil bir kent haline dönüşebilecek.
Geçmişte evet okuma yazma oranı, o günkü Türkiye'nin koşulları, o günkü iletişimin ortamları ya da o çağın gerekleri diye baktığımızda sadece bilen kişilerin organize etmeye çalıştığı yapının bugün çok daha katılımcı, çok daha şeffaf, çok daha üstün bir modelle, dünya örneklerini de içine katan bir anlayışla günün sonunda öyle bir mekanizmaya dönüşecek ki bireysel irade ben geldim burayı kapatıyorum diyemeyecek. Çünkü biz sahibini halk yapacağız oranın.
Metropolitan Mayor, Municipal Mayor Ekrem İmamoğlu. Please welcome him with a round of applause. Welcome. Hey, how are you? I am very excited, dear guests, esteemed members of press, dear Istanbulites. Istanbul Vision 2050 launch activity is about to start, and I'd like to welcome you all, and I salute you. I greet you with love and respect. I am excited because at every step, at every moment, we are producing ideas, we're discussing, and this is how we mature this process. And not a single issue is determined in a standalone manner, and we have given no one the situation, the capability to do so. So we consider, we think, and we discuss what to create, what kind of atmosphere. And with this common sense, common mind, this is the kind of result that we obtained. And this result is actually a new beginning. And from that point, I'm very excited. And it is great to get together with the managers of the city and high-level representation from around the world, of course, speaking from the Balkans. And this is the excitement to share the results with you, dear youth. At the same time, these streets are being walked over thousands of years, and this is the capital of civilizations, the empires. And 3 years ago, we hit the road for a new beginning, and we are aiming at leaving no one behind out of 16 million Istanbulites. We're going to succeed together, and this is what we said on the first day. The target identified by Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, an honorable, peaceful, and welfare future. This is what we're going to build together. So we are in the middle of crises. We have lost the directionality. We are stuck. This is how we were. And this ancient city is going to be ruled under the guidance of science and in respect to its culture and history and, of course, nature. And we are prioritizing the happiness of Istanbul, and this is what we promised. You know, we need to make the dreams into plans and the plans into reality. To do that, to walk towards the future together. This is how we hit the road. This is why we hit the road. Dear guests, today I am going to identify the main issues of Vision 2050. It's been done with the contribution of thousands of people, and it is basically an analysis, in a data-driven analysis done by sensitive hands, and we are writing a prescription for the future. So active participation, accountability, transparency, and cooperation. Well, these are the principles that we had. We communicate the cities that has experience, and we try to get the experience that they have from them. So the changing economy of metropoles and the cities and the climate crisis and the poverty and social inequality and security. These are all the issues of humanity, and we have discussed how to respond to these issues in a meticulous way. So throughout the 3 years, we have never given up on a participatory approach, and we followed the situation across the globe. And of course, we took Istanbul's specificities into account, And this is how we built the 2050 vision of Istanbul. When we say 2050 vision, you know, like it feels like we're talking about a distant future. It's not really like that. Of course, I have a lot of guests here with a lot of experience. And when I look into 2050 and about the distance, you know, when I go back to my own past, you know, when I was at the university and I remember my struggle in the business world and I remember my academic struggles. So, you know, it feels like yesterday. So, speaking of 2050, it's not really a distant future. So, for a city, for a country, it's not really a significant amount of interval. It's just a moment in time, actually. And with that, we remember how big our responsibility is. So after 3 years, you know, I can claim in a realistic manner that, you know, for Istanbul, all the cities of Turkey and all the metropoles of the world, we are going to build a democratic life in Istanbul and across the country, and we have a plan to do so. And I can say that in a bold manner. Another claim that I have is that we have a dream of another Istanbul, and I can say that boldly as well. We are going to succeed that at all costs. For Istanbul to come to the fore as a strategic and powerful actor in the global system, it's not really easy in the short term and with brand activities. From Balkans to Caucasus, from the Middle and Far East to from Middle and Near East to North Africa, and from Black Sea to Mediterranean, it is a city of the world. I can boldly say that it actually is the capital of the world. From its historical heritage to its geographic position, from its intense flow of services and products to its young population, the existing situation exhibits that it has the capacity to do so and to be so. This potential can only be carried out with a realistic political leadership, and this is how it could be actualized. With its old historical and cultural heritage and economic capacity and volume, and with a correct and rational political perspective, Istanbul is nominating itself to exhibit such leadership. It will do so because it is being expected to do so. Istanbul has done it has made its decision, focusing on the happiness and peace of the urban public. It is going to be a representative of peace, justice, and equality, and of course freedom. It is going to win the youth. It is going to win the women and children. And the vision of 2050 for Istanbul, well, it has to do with our dream of having another Istanbul. And at every step, we consider Istanbul in a different way, and it is going to act as an important guideline. This Istanbul Vision 2050 document I'm talking about at the local, national, regional, and international level, this is a project to respond to 5 basic crisis areas. The first one has to do with governance and democracy. The second challenge is economy and development. The third is ecology and environment. The fourth is the urban environment, transportation and infrastructure. And the fifth one is the societal welfare and justice. this document, under these 5 titles, this document foresees the possible crisis, and it sees the inequality as a major issue. This is being hotly debated in the world, and with its cultural and historical heritage, Istanbul, this document preserves and presents a confident future plan. Especially alongside the irregular migration and the mass displacement of population, terrorist attacks, and mass poverty, all of them intensify in global cities like Istanbul. Those who think that it's not ever going to happen to them, well, they have seen that it's not like that. On the other side, the cities that are established well in the global economy, they are going to be more resilient to multidimensional crises like that, and these cities are going to guide the future. And with its vision and roadmap in the year 2050, Istanbul is going to take its rightful place in this future scenario, and it's going to provide social justice for all the public of Istanbul, for all Istanbulites. It is going to represent a fair globalization, and it's going to be the key actor of that. It has to do so. It has the entitlement and worth of doing so. And this responsibility lies with Istanbul. In the coming period, from the economy to social welfare at a big scale, Istanbul is going to minimize the societal damage, and it is going to bring the democratic decision-making processes to the fore. And in this point, Istanbul is going to be a pioneering city. In the year 2050, Istanbul is going to be vibrant and free, and everyone is going to live freely, and it is going to be a democratic world city. And for that, we identified 7 major themes. So preserving the nature and adapting to the climate change, this is the first one. The second one is the effective and inclusive mobility, and the third one is integrated and smart infrastructure, and the sensitive spaces, a transformative and resilient economy, and the urban opportunities that are accessible to everyone, and a free and equal society. So, I am going to talk about the other crises as we talk about the problems and the challenges. I would like to talk about today's understanding of management that downplays democracy, and I am going to expand on that right now. Today, Turkey is going through a democracy, law, and management crisis. And this is basically the biggest barrier on the way to future Istanbul. So it's not just Istanbul, but the same danger lies for the whole country. Starting from the metropolitan municipality of Istanbul, the decision-making organs should be participatory in the real sense, and the main components of the city should be turned into shareholders. And this is a target, an objective that we have, and we're never going to compromise on that. So, about the essence of our management vision, our approach, It has to do with Istanbul Planning Agency, and it is going to be the science, reason, and participation that is going to lead this transformation. And the spatial transformation is going to coexist and coextend with that. You know, it is going to have 2050 office. It's going to have Istanbul Statistics Office. It's going to have Public Design Office, Social Policies Office, and with Istanbul Planning Agency Institute, İPA is going to work and produce for Istanbul. And it is going to bring different segments of the city together in line with the joint objectives. And it is basically a sustainable ecosystem. From its core to its periphery, the whole city of Istanbul, each inch of the city is going to be under the jurisdiction and the working area of İPA. As it is going to undertake a 2050 vision, it is going to resolve the existing problems. So it is a next generation institutionalization example. With 16 million Istanbulites, we are going to empower these structures, and we're going to move on doing that in an innovative manner. Alongside that, for the first time, we established Istanbul City Council, and we are running participatory budget and planning works. And with the main theme of Istanbul Yours, we have organized countless activities, and the technological applications are being run in parallel to that. And this is being done with an effective participation of universities. So they are going to have a say. They already do have a say in the management of Istanbul. So in the Istanbul of future, only one thing is going to remain unchanged. In Istanbul, whoever comes to the power, it's not going to be a fait accompli. It's not like I have done, so be it. No, it's over. Such an understanding is over. With an effective participation, just like the whole of the local administrations, all the authority and the resources of the local administrations should be increased in a meaningful way. On the one side, it has a population of over 16 million, and it has an economic, social, and political value. So it needs a broader authority and broader resources. Istanbul deserves such a reform, such a legislation. Its time we are even delayed on that. Even in the existing situation, they are basically seizing the authority that the local administration has, and the population, the Istanbulites, are being imposed these seizing of the authority and power abused by the central authority. So it's not just Istanbul. You know, Istanbul is the driving engine. It's the locomotive of Turkey. So the whole country is basically suffering from what they are doing in Istanbul. So we have to strike a new balance between the central and local governments. And the local governments must be empowered. And this must be done with the active participation of the local governments. And this is what we are up against. And Istanbul is going to lift not just itself, but all the other cities of Istanbul. It's going to democratize them further. It is going to strike an example of cooperation and human-oriented understanding of collaboration between the central and the local authorities. And this has to be done without losing any time. This issue should come to the fore in the reform package. Like to summarize now some of the areas that should be involved in these reforms. So the local administrations should get away from the real estate management. They should focus on local development and local welfare. So this should be allowed and promoted with the new model, and it should be brought to the fore. In consideration with an understanding of locality, a local development and social welfare functions should be given to the local authorities, and to establish a social welfare, poverty, unemployment, and migration issues should be pioneered and led by the local authorities, and it should be done ASAP. A monetary reform that enables that should be done immediately. So in order to create resources for the local government, the dependency of the lolocal authorities on the central one should be minimized, and it should be built on principles, not arbitration of the individuals. So the local authorities should be given the authority to collect certain taxes. For example, the resources created out of the urban activities, well, their taxation should be reformed. And this taxation should be collected by the local authorities. So we're talking about empowerment of the local authorities step by step. At the local and global level, the local authorities should be involved in urban diplomacy, and they should be given the authority to do joint work with other cities of the world. You know, I think as if they have heard that, you know, they are going to, that I was going to talk about urban diplomacy. They have written a letter to me that limits my communication with the councils and ambassadors. So, of course, with these attempts, they can only exhibit how corrupt the central authority has become. And it means nothing else. So from that point, with all the things that I mentioned, Istanbul's representation in this large geography, it's not just about this city. If Istanbul is represented well, if it turns into a strong actor, it's not just our city that is going to win. But at the same time, we should know that the whole country, 86 million Turkish citizens, are going to win. Because as a global city, Istanbul represents the whole country and its 86 million population. In a clear manner, Istanbul means Turkey. So one of the, as a city that represents the global south, you know, its representation in the international arena, it is important in terms of prevention of the South, the global South, being the victims of the global developments all the time. So it is very important to establish a global, a fair global order. So if there is a balance of justice, Istanbul sits right in the middle. That strikes the balance. So it establishes the balance. It has such a mission and a responsibility. So from that point, it plays an important, a leading role in B40 Balkan cities, and with this, it attributes the importance. It exhibits the importance that it attributes to this initiative, and the cities in the Balkan region, they also exhibit what kind of process that they want to go through. In the coming days,
5 ana meydan okuma alanında
in the 5 challenge areas that I mentioned,
bir kent diplomasisi
an urban diplomacy, a strategy document
hazırlayıp
is going to be prepared and it is going to be put into effect.
mali piyasalar
From
ve
this point,
küresel ticaret yanında
alongside the monetary policies and global trade in the production of know-how and technology, Istanbul is going to be a strategic center, and the processes of cooperation and institutionalization is going to go further. Balkans, Black Sea, Middle East, and near Asian regions, we're going to empower our relationships and we're going to increase the organizations in the best possible way. Dear participants, esteemed guests, the innovative local administration of the future paves the way for the urban diplomacy at the global scale, and through democratic platforms, it expands the democratic decision mechanisms. So in 3 years' time, industry, tourism, transportation, climate, youth, and culture platforms that we established, they exhibit the kickoff of the future understanding of management. These platforms, in every field of life, they find a place for themselves, and for their institutionalization, it is very important. Their institutionalization is very important for the actualization of participatory citizenship. And these platforms are also going to protect Istanbul against the possible crises. They are going to make Istanbul more resilient, and more fair decisions are going to be made for societal justice.
Sevgili İstanbullular,
Dear Istanbulites,
katılımcılar,
esteemed participants,
ekonomisi demek,
the economy of Istanbul means the heart of the Turkish economy. 20% of the employment and more than 30% of the production is here, and international trade, about 50%, is in Istanbul. Istanbul has variable industries, dynamic workforce, huge potential and historical legacy, and its geographical location shows that it is a leader city and it will have a voice in the world of cities in the future. But unfortunately, for years, Istanbul has been following wrong economical politics, and also the effects of climate change, inequality of income, economical crises. We require real solutions. And to share you the importance of these issues, I would like to remind you, just 2 years ago, at the start of 2020, you remember what was the exchange rate of a dollar. It was 5.9 Turkish liras for $1. Now it is going forward to the 20 liras. I cannot believe it. How could an economy be managed in such a way? So what is the effects of that on Istanbul? I would like to focus on that. Istanbul had $230 billion of GDP in 2020. Around that time, even though our production have increased, because of the bad management and bad monetary policies and the system that is focused on waste, this number has went down to $89 billion. Can you imagine that difference? So for economical strength, Istanbul has lost a lot
tercih edilen para politikaları doğrultusunda enflasyonun
because
patlamasıyla
of the monetary
bir
policy. The
avuçtan
inflation has
zenginleşmesi
exploded
olan
and
tüm
a handful of
Türkiye'de ve
elites
tabii
have
ki İstanbul'da
gotten richer. But of course, in
halkımızın hayatı
Turkey, in
ne
Istanbul,
yazık ki
the life
katlanılamaz
of
pahalılık ile
people,
karşı karşıya
unfortunately, everybody is facing
Bu vahim tablo elbette
extreme inflation of the
İstanbul'da olduğu
prices.
gibi
As
Türkiye'de de çok
this
yakın
issue
zamanda
exists in Istanbul,
gerçekleşecek
this
köklü
is
ve heyecan verici
an
iktidar
issue
değişimiyle
all around
inanın
Turkey,
çok
and I
hızlı
believe
ilerleyecek ve çok hızlı
this
iyileşecek
issue
olacak.
can be solved by the change of
İstanbul'da hedefimiz
the
çok açık ve nettir.
government
2050
quickly,
vizyonumuz
and our target
ve
is very
Türkiye'de değişen iktidarın yürüteceği
clear
doğru
for
ekonomik ve
us.
kalkınma politikaları çevresinde.
Proper economic
Özellikle
and
liyakatli
monetary
insanların
policies
yönetiminde
and development
İstanbul
policies
metropolitan
with
bölgesi, Doğu Marmara ve Batı Marmara'daki
proper
özellikle Tekirdağ ve
people
Kocaeli
and
alt
professionals
bölgeleriyle
working on
geliştireceği
merit,
ekonomik
especially
ve
around
mekansal bir
Kocaeli and
politikalar
similar regions, having
İstanbul'u sadece
economical
İstanbul olarak değil,
collaboration.
Marmara bölgesini
Istanbul is
de
not just Istanbul. You can not forget about the Marmara region,
milyar dolarlık
and
milli hasıla ile
with the $600 billion of GDP that this region can create, we have the potential to reach the top 10 on the world. And young people, I'm talking to you. You will be able to
İstanbul'u
reach those heights.
yenilikçi ve yaratıcı
And
girişimleri özellikle
for innovative
bu
and
anlamda
creative
bir çekim merkezi haline gelme süreci yürürken
entrepreneurship
toplumsal adaleti
is
gözetecek adımlar
focused
atacak.
on Istanbul, and
Üretim
we also have to
ağlarındaki
have
bilgi,
societal
teknoloji ve
steps
yenilikçi
taken as well.
özellikle
New
ağırlıklı dönüşüme
technologies, and especially
sağlayarak
to
bu
prepare the
alanlardaki
workforce
istihdamı
for
arttıracak
technological
adımlara,
transformations,
emeği
and we
yeniden
need steps
üretime
taken to
yönelik
increase
mekansal,
employment
sosyal ve
in
kültürel
futures industry, and
politikalar eşlik edecektir.
with
Bu
cultural and
alanda
societal
büyütülmeye
policies that help the development will achieve growth
özellikle
in
bu açıdan demokratik fırsat
Istanbul.
penceresi olarak
The
tanımlanmaktadır.
market of employment
İstanbul ve
is very important for Istanbul and Turkey. We have the youngest population. To grow the city economics, we realize that this creates a big potential. Istanbul has 71% of the population is working age. The population of Istanbul is
son derece önemli bir potansiyele sahiptir.
reaching a great potential over the European Union with our younger population. And we realize that potential, and we see that the new economy requires education, technology, and information, and we are developing tools to be able to reach these requirements. And quickly, what we are going to also develop is structural strategy tools. In our research done in Istanbul, and what we have read says that entrepreneurship ecosystem, attractive economy, and local dynamics open to innovation are the big potential points of Istanbul. Now, we have to strengthen Istanbul's self-capabilities, and for priorities of Istanbul, we have to support entrepreneurship. And with that purpose, until 2030, Istanbul Entrepreneurship Fund will be created. Istanbul Entrepreneurship Fund.
16 milyonun ortak çabasıyla
With the common effort of 16 million people in Istanbul, we want to create Istanbul as an attractive city for innovation and entrepreneurship. Especially, I would like to see our younger and female entrepreneurs in this manner.
bölgesel girişimcilik ekosistemlerinde
For this
18. sırada olan
ecosystems of entrepreneurship, Istanbul is the 18th right now, and in 2030 to 2050 we would like to reach third, and today we are 66th for global initiatives, and we hope to focus and reach the top 20. And a lot of cities all around the world, the developments in the employment markets create sensitivities in the city economics. And currently the production industry of Istanbul is using high-tech only 11% of the producers. Now in 2050 we would like to improve that higher than 35%. At the same time, for the economy of Istanbul, the adaptation of the economy based on technology and information has to be realized, and currently cultural and creative employment is 4% in Turkey and Istanbul currently, and we would like to improve it over 10%. And for the welfare of our citizens, the development is one of our most important targets. More than 100,000 women in Istanbul do not join the workforce because they do not have any hope of employment. We are currently reaching a point that one of every 4 youngster is unemployed. And while we are achieving the potential of the Istanbul economy, we have to realize that our citizens are taking their share. And in that sense, in 2050, we would like to lower the unemployment rate to 5% and increase the women's participation in the workforce over 70%. Doubling it is among our goals. Of course, participation in the workforce is very important, very critical for the freedom of women, for also economical and societal development. This is an important issue, not just economically. The regional employment offices and new structures like Institute Istanbul, they are going to work on unemployment, which is going to be one of the most important crises in the future. For the last 1.5 years, even though we had experienced COVID, we have created more than 50,000 jobs. With Institute Istanbul, we have found more than 600,000 trainees, and we have given education and training for more than 600,000 people. From single digits, we have improved it to 30%, and we are targeting to reach. Respectful to nature during the process of transformation of industry, there is going to be just transformation centers, especially in Istanbul. The climate change's effect on the employment and the industry should also be thought about in terms of societal inequality. These industries that work on resilience, we are expected that 550,000 people's employment will be affected by climate change, and we have to realize this change. And in terms of social justice, we have to make it adaptable to green change and transformation. For Istanbul's innovation and entrepreneurship ecosystem, we are going to improve the R&D infrastructure, and for
destekleyeceğiz.
the technological transformation, we will be supporting every firm, especially the smaller firms, and we are going to create a business
Bilgi, teknoloji
region that is
inovasyon ağırlıklı olarak
focused on
geleceğe
information,
hazırlayacağız ve
technology, and innovation, and we will be ready for future. Starting with the Atatürk Airport along the Ayamama Valley,
İstanbul Büyükşehir Belediyesi
we
veri
have set up the
genişleterek
data lab of the Istanbul Metropolitan Municipality, and
dijital dönüşüm ve üretim
we will
havzası olarak
work on that to create a digital transformation region.
Aynı zamanda
At the same
havalimanının
time,
varlığının yanında uluslararası
in addition
ticarete
to
hizmet
that
verecek
airport, we will
varlığı,
create expo
kentin
zones to
merkezine entegre
help
ulaşım
international
bağlantılarına
trade,
sahip
and
ve bütün
this
avantajlarıyla
area will have
çevresinde gelişkin konaklama, ofis ve yönetim
transportation
merkezi altyapısının bulunması
opportunities to
ve
the city
teknolojik
center
dönüşüme
and
açık
different
sanayi alanlarının
opportunities for
varlığı bu
production
bölge
and
açısından da
organized
çok önemli, vazgeçilmez,
industrial zones
mutlaka
should be
kazanılması şart
created,
olan
and
bir potansiyel.
there is a potential that we
Noktada
have to
Teknosent
reach.
projemizde
So our Technos
bu dönüşüm sürecinin
Village project
yeryüzündeki altyapısını
is
sağlayacaktır. Özellikle
going to
İstanbul'a
create
yayılan
infrastructure
bir bahsediyorum.
locally. This project is going
Yaratıcılık ve
for the
yenilikçi
entire
ekosistemini
city and the ecosystem of Istanbul, which is focused on innovation and entrepreneurship. We will create the required interfaces to achieve these industries, and techno villages are going to be an important step for Istanbul. One of every 3 adults, only one of them have required skills for IT technologies, and this is the information age. In 2050, we want to improve that rate higher than 90%. And in 2050, every youngster living in Istanbul has to be able to use the information and communication technologies actively, and they have to have the skills to operate that, and we will achieve this. And for technologies and the industries that use low technology, we are going to improve the interaction between the workforce, and we are going to improve innovation and production so that we can achieve more transparent areas that will help people to grow economically and culturally. So this project at the same time is going to improve the societal justice and equality, and it is a big challenging project. Dear guests, in 60 universities we have 1.3 million university students, 25,000 graduates we have in Istanbul, and these are the actors that are very important for our transformation. At the same time, Istanbul and its universities, maybe we are not realizing, but this is another attraction, a potential that can attract more innovation and improvement. And a lot of historical universities in our countries, unfortunately, we are not seeing them achieving their potentials. They are, unfortunately, in quantitative sense, they are not where they deserve to be. We have to move forward, and we have to take some steps to improve this situation. And our University Istanbul project is going to focus on 2 very important points for their collaboration with the local government and among the universities.
Birincisi,
First
İstanbul'un
of all,
uluslararası eğitimin hedef kentlerinden biri olmasını sağlayacak bir modelin
we have to create a model which will turn Istanbul into an education center, into a global education center. And the second one is creating technoparks and technological development zones should not be individual but should have
entegre
a global
Üniversite İstanbul
national
projemizde yerel yönetim ve
legal framework, and within our project we would try to achieve
üretilen bilgi
their collaboration among universities so that the development and research that has been done in our universities can be improved, and also our universities can work to improve our city, and
önemli bir sürecin adımı atılmış oldu.
thankfully this will be a very important process for our city. In Istanbul, unfortunately, our universities are under pressure.
Öğrencilerini
Unfortunately,
karşısına alan,
our universities are
kısıtlayan hamlelerin atılması.
unfortunately stopping the freedom of universities, students,
Üniversitelerimiz
and
özgürleştirilecek.
we are going to make our universities free.
İstanbul
We are going to remove their shackles,
gelişmiş
and
altyapısıyla bölgenin lojistik üssü olabilecek potansiyeli.
Istanbul has a very important potential in terms of becoming a logistical center, and this is going to have an important role in the future.
Çevresinde yer alan
We have Tekirdağ, Bursa, Kocaeli, very important production zones, logistical centers,
küresel, ulusal
and harbors and
bölgesel
ports.
bir odak noktası.
And Istanbul is a global focal point for economics.
Avrupa,
Pan-Europe, Trans-Europe,
Asya, Asya ulaşım koridoru
Europe,
gibi
Caucasus,
tüm uluslararası
Asia,
ulaşım koridorları Marmara bölgesinden
roads and
ve
transportation systems are going through the Marmara region and Istanbul. And in 2050 as well, adaptation to the developing technologies and smart
lojistik sektöründe
investments,
konumda olacaktır.
Istanbul can become a leading city
Havalimanı,
in terms of
3 havalimanı, 2,5
logistics.
havalimanı,
We are going to have 3 active
yollarıyla
airports,
entegre hale
not
getirilmiş
2.5,
limanları,
3. We are going to have
oluşturacağımız yeni lojistik merkezleri,
railways and
yük merkezleri
which are supported by the ports, and we are going to have a holistic logistical system in terms of global and local needs. These are going to be planned. One of the most important thing for global cities is high interaction and connection in terms of movement of product and people.
Bağlantı ve etkileşimini geleceğe taşımak konusunda
In terms of moving forward to the future, this is a very crucial point to reach the economics of future. Istanbul will be a global organization center. In 2030, we will reach the top 10, and in the next 5 years, we hope to reach top 5 in terms of organizational events in Turkey, Istanbul. Of course, this target
kent diplomasisinin
can
güçlendirilmesini
only
sağlayacak bir siyasi liderlik ve
be achieved with a political leadership and
turizm
proper
alanında ise
democracy.
İstanbul
In terms of tourism,
kenti arasında
Istanbul
kalıcı olarak yerini almak zorunda
have
alacaktır.
to be
Göreceksiniz.
in the
Hep
top
birlikte.
3 forever.
Üç kentinden birisi olacak.
We have to reach the top 3 in terms of tourism.
Yıllara dayanan
Istanbul has a
tarihi ve
unique natural
birikimi
structure
ve
and
çeşitliliğiyle
nature.
turizm
We have
alanında
varied
dünyanın en önemli
historical legacies and heritages. In terms of tourism, Istanbul is one of the most important
İstanbul'da
areas
bir
in the
turizm
world.
politikası
We
geliştirilmesi adına kurduğumuz turizm platformu ile
Have
ciddi
created the
yollar aldık.
tourism platform to achieve a holistic plan for tourism in Istanbul, and we will have a reform in terms of this regulation, and
eğlence, gastronomi gibi
historical, cultural, organizational, tourism achievements, gastronomy opportunities will be
yönlendireceğiz. Ve bütün
managed with the
bunları
dynamics
desteklemek
of this city.
son 3 yılda
And while supporting all this, in the last 3 years, we also created a new
süreci ekonomide
process in terms of green solution, and we will combine it with green transformation in economy as well to
organize sanayi
fight with
bölgeleri,
climate
ticaret
change,
sanayi karma alanları ve
organized industrial zone and smaller industrial zones.
enerji kullanımı,
We are going to
yutak
use renewable energy and
ve ileri biyolojik arıtma tesisi gibi çözümlerin kullanılmasını
new
sağlayacağız
biological
ve bu bizim en önemli adımlarımız.
systems will be made, and this is going to be one of the most important steps that we have taken.
Dünya iklim değişikliğini konuşuyor.
World is talking about climate change, and in our day, the natural resources are unfortunately being used up, and it is not sustainable. The existence of the ecosystem is under threat, and I think
Doğayla uyum içinde yaşayan
in 2050, Istanbul have to be a resilient city with low carbon footprint, and we have to realize climate
bu hedefi gerçekleştirmek adı amacıyla
justification. And
İstanbul
to
İklim
achieve
Değişikliği
that
planımızı size
target, I would like to share,
hazırladığımız
I have shared our action plan in terms of climate change. And first of all, we would like to stop city crawl in Istanbul, and with high energy efficiency, which is combining with green development, we will support city development to achieve these targets. Our city is constantly growing and crawling, and we will work on minimizing the effects it has, especially in the northern area around current residential areas. We have to create required limits, and we will be protecting the north. And to stop this city crawl, we have the northern life regions. We are combining these shores and forest areas, and we want to create an identity of the city that will combine everybody's lives with the nature, and we will improve 100% activity for the people, and we would like to increase the amount of greenery per person more than 15 square meters. And to achieve rural development, we will have markets and innovation centers, and to help with green transformation, we will have new infrastructure for our rural development as well. And the northern region, the waterworks and the rural residential areas will be protected, and we currently started these projects to keep them sustainable. And these projects will be strengthened with our feedback systems, and these are going to be the basis of our future. And to keep the ecological balance and to keep the sustainability and variable biologic ecosystem, we have to do that. Currently, 45% of Istanbul is a forest area, and we will not lose any. We will protect in the entire forest zone.
One of the most important values of Istanbul in a climate and water crisis that could happen in the future we are going to create urban areas in which the rivers are going to be protected in their natural character, and they're going to be made a part of urban life. And this is an important target for Istanbul, and we are going to actualize that. So we are going to bring Istanbul with its rivers, which have always existed in its history. Alongside, the renewable energy sources like solar, wind, and biomass energy at the individual and urban level, their production and consumption level are going to be increased. And with this, we're going to decrease the greenhouse effect. And from that point until 2050, our mass transportation fleets are going to be 100% environment friendly. And then we're going to incentivize Istanbulites to use environment-friendly vehicles. And this is an important component of net zero target that we have. To create the least possible waste, the issue of waste management is very important. Prevention at the source and recycling systems are going to be used, and with an effective usage of the waste management, we're going to create the least possible amount of waste, and then the waste created is going to be recycled. With the waste management and biomethanization facilities that we opened in the last 2 years, we have taken important steps. We're going to inform our citizens regarding the waste issue, and then we're going to lower the waste per capita under 1 kilogram, and we're going to increase the recycled water to 100%. And with the climate justice principle, we're going to have an institutional capacity that is resilient to climate crisis. And these principles are going to be our priorities in social justice and welfare.
Dear guests and participants, for a sustainable and fair city, and to build a strong social structure, free and diverse society is key. So from that point, Istanbul has a rich societal structure, and we're going to improve the culture of peaceful coexistence. And then to improve belonging to Istanbul, we're going to prevent any other way of discrimination. And this is of vital importance, and it is important for societal peace as well. For everyone that lives in Istanbul, for everyone to establish justice and freedom, the gender equality and empowerment of fragile groups, and empowerment of youth and protection of aging in a healthy way is going to be a priority for us. So this is going to contribute to the development of local democracy, and the citizens are going to embrace the future of the city. In Istanbul, education, health, culture, sports, and greenery, to have access to each and every one of them, we have certain disadvantaged groups. In the Istanbul of 2050, for everyone, for every Istanbulite, the urban capability and opportunities are going to be provided in a fair manner, that is location-wise. And then with the public investments that we are doing now, we're going to obtain and accomplish the desired Istanbul. Early years of education is going to improve the creativity of our children and empower them with societal skills. And the ratio of children in the preschool age in the kindergarten is 40%. And we hit the road to make it up to 100%.
2050 yılının gençlerini bugünden yetiştirmek için
To educate the youth of 2050, you know, we have a project of 150 kindergartens to 150 neighborhoods. We started this project and we're going to spread this project across the whole city. Each child is going to be able to attend the preschool facilities, and we have to accomplish that. And we are going to increase the number of the next-gen libraries where the youth is going to have access to information. And as Istanbul Metropolitan Municipalities, technology workshops, you know, those who receive training there. Last week, thousands of children who received training there shared their projects with us, and when we consider these steps, and when we consider that we have 60 of them already, they are going to contribute Istanbul becoming an attraction point in a shared learning, an attraction point for education. Another issue is, you know, 1 out of 3 people have problems in access to healthy food, and we have to eliminate that. In 2050, everyone is going to be ensured to have access to healthy and enough food. So, for that purpose, a regional food system in which the city is going to get its food from its neighboring regions, and this is going to be accomplished through incentivizing the agriculture. In 1/3 of the places, suitable places, there is no agriculture being done, and we want 100% of the areas to be used for agriculture. So in settlement areas, we are going to promote urban agriculture, and we're going to promote again the vertical agriculture. Istanbul in 2050, together with Thrace and South Marmara regions, in line with the regional development plan, this region is going to have good practices of good agriculture, and people are going to have access to healthy and cheap food. The Urban Food Council that we are going to establish is going to support the research and development on the food sector, and all the stages of food security are going to be monitorable by the people, and they could be audited by the people. Sports Istanbul is an important component of 2050 vision. Today, 13% of Istanbulites are doing sports on a regular basis because we have less than 1 meter square sports area per person. We're going to raise it up to more than 10 meters square per capita. And we're going to enable like 1 out of 2 people to do sports. You see where we are. You see the parameters, where our parameters are going to be. You know, they are going to be right in the middle of the daily life. And they are going to affect the daily lives of people. With the sports that Istanbul is going to, with the athletes that it is going to raise, it is going to be one of the capitals of the sports in the world. The number of licensed athletes is going to be taken up to 25% from 60%, and we are going to be scanning the talent from that point to spread the sports culture. Istanbul is going to be made into the center of the Olympiads and the various types of sports competitions. 2036 Olympic candidacy is going to be an important milestone in this journey. We're going to be the most bold. We're going to be the boldest city where the Olympiads history is going to have witnessed. You know, the Eco-Olympiad approach is what we have in this candidacy, and then we are going to see what has been done wrong, like in a discriminatory or wasteful practice. We are going to study these. We have done studies on these discrimination activities, and then learning from that, we are going to move on in a more innovative way that is going to make the life more beautiful for everyone. And Olympiads we believe, are going to fit the spirit of Istanbul very much.
Tabii 2050 yılına koşuyoruz. Konumuz fazla.
Of course, we are running towards 2050 and we have a long way to go. And what I'm saying right now is basically they're going to be taken down as notes for history, and the youth is going to follow what we promised today, and they're going to keep us accountable in the future. So all the approach, what kind of approach do we have, and in line with this strategy and actions, well, what kind of a spatial manifestation are they going to create, and what makes Vision 2050 different from its similars around the world? Well, it has to do with the ready manifestations of spatial solutions. So from settlement to infrastructure, we have a ready-made perspective on these areas, and from that point, what matters for each and every one of us, you know, I'd like to start speaking from the issue of shelter, and a main component of 2050 vision. Well, it has to do with creating a vision of a healthy housing policy that is for everyone. People are having a hard time paying the rents, and because of the increased cost of construction, not enough buildings are going to be made. And if we move on with the current speed, we're going to have to wait another 100 years to turn Istanbul into an earthquake-resilient city. And 16 million Istanbulites know that we don't have such a time. Earthquake is the #1 threat for Istanbul, and as all that is happening, new areas are being opened to settlement, and while Istanbulites are not able to find a house to live, the number of houses that are kept empty, that are not used, their numbers are increasing. There is a solution. And the housing policies that we started when we came to power, they're going to be diversified with the participation of different instruments. And as we go toward 2050, We're going to have shelter that is suitable and resilient to earthquake, and of course it is going to be accessible to everyone. This is what we're going to build. And we're going to have a spatial approach that is going to be run correctly for everyone, and we're going to focus on energy efficiency and protection of natural spaces. We are not going to do what they did. You know, we are not going to turn the city upside down with projects like Canal Istanbul, which is going to destroy water basins and forestry. We are not going to be building luxury houses for the happy few at the expense of the rest of the society. We know the real problems of our people. Towards 2050, for the solution of those real problems, we're walking towards 2050 on the basis of justice. And we have to start implementing innovative projects. Local authorities are going to undertake important roles, and in coordination with the public institutions and with the participation of people that are going to be affected by those decisions, well, we are going to have projects with such an understanding like Istanbul yenileniyor. That is, Istanbul is refreshing, renewing itself. And with better opportunities tomorrow, we're going to do faster, better. I'd like to talk about some important projects. First of all, Istanbul Housing Office. We're going to complete its institutional formation, and on the basis of districts, we are going to follow a housing policy based on data in line with the cooperation between the local and central authorities. This structure is going to be open for the participation of the people, and to improve a fair housing policy, we're going to play a balancing and regulating active role. And in the follow-up, we are going to create a fund for earthquake renewal, and the risky buildings are going to be transformed as soon as possible, and we're going to create the necessary financing for that. So the number of the risky buildings that amount up to 500,000 are going to be taken down to zero. So with this, the houses that are kept empty are going to be further taxed and is going to be audited. And the resources that is going to be coming from this extra taxation is going to be used by the local authorities to do the earthquake renewal. The tourism, hospitality, and creative sector activities are going to contribute to this fund. And at the local level, we are going to create an economic development model that is cyclical, with creating the social housing for rent. We are going to provide livable housing for the people, especially in city centers, in downtown places. We're going to create urban labor force housing. So it is going to facilitate access to workspaces, and then with this, the shelter needs of this labor force is going to be provided. And with this, public authorities is going to play an important role in the balancing of the prices. In the existing building stock, about the social housing, we are aiming to reach up to 25%. I'm talking about a significant regulation. With green and flexible designs, these houses are going to respond to the needs of tomorrow. We are focusing very heavily on this. With the implementation of housing and urbanization, with reforms on that, we're going to make important changes on the legal regulation. Distinguished participants, transportation policies are an important issue for our city. In order to create environment-friendly, we aim at decreasing the use of private cars. That is going to contribute to decreasing the carbon footprint as well. Starting from walking, non-motorized transportation modes are going to be promoted, and the disadvantaged groups are going to be supported in their needs of transportation. Within the mass transportation systems, the rail systems that provide the fastest and the most comfortable modes of transformation are going to be supported. They have 24.6% in the overall transportation now. The railed systems are going to be taken up to 50% in 2050, and despite the economic crisis and every act of attempt of prevention, we are the only city that is simultaneously working on 10 railed lines. Today, in the stations of the rail system, you know, the people, like 30% of Istanbulites have access to rail system by 10 minutes of walk. Until 2030, we are going to raise this up to 40%. And after that time, we are planning new investments on the rail systems. And across Istanbul, 8 kilometers of rail system is aimed in our activity. And within this system, one line is very important. Hızray, that is speed rail, is a very important project, and with its being implemented in the east-west axis, we are going to have a fast and comfortable line of transportation. It is going to bring 12 districts together, and on a 62 kilometers axis, it is going to be a fast, secure, and comfortable mode of transportation. So it goes, the other metro lines that go through the highway and D100, it is going to cut through them, and it is going to help us organize the urban centers, and it is going to create a graduation for urban areas, downtown areas. And with this, we're going to prevent the city to exercise a northward pressure. And from that point, it has a vital performance. So the effectiveness and speed and reliability are going to be increased in the mass transportation. And with this, we're going to incentivize the use of mass transportation. We're going to create mobility centers in crowded areas, and in transportation, integration is going to be made, and we're going to have mixed modes of transportation. So beyond transfer in transportation, we are going to be talking about talking about creation of public centers that are alive 24/7. In 2050, you know, the bicycle lines and walking lanes are going to be created, and new public spaces are going to be presented to the people of Istanbul. So integrated routes of bicycle are going to be a part of a daily life, a joyful part of that. Investment on the infrastructure is another issue. So they are going to play an important role in undertaking the needs of tomorrow. And from the water resources to energy efficiency, smart city practices are going to be on top of our priority. And in line with these agendas, I'm not going to expand on them, I'm not going to detail, But in line with our 2050 vision, digital city infrastructure works have been already started. So all the components of the infrastructure and superstructure of the city are going to be followed. And this is the concept of the digital city. And on a virtual space, the things are going to be followed in an integrated and coordinated manner. And all the activities are going to be guided with such activities. Of course, with all these, we know very well that Istanbul's future goes through embracing its past. The historical heritage that comes from its past, well, this is unique and one of its kind. You know, with Istanbul Miras, that is Istanbul heritage, we are going to protect our heritage and pass them down to next generation as essential parts of the daily life. So they are going to be essential components of our policy. With one example, let me tell you that before 2030, you know, the apple of our eye, Süleymaniye is going to be a part of life, and we are going to clean the wasteful areas that surround it, and we're going to give Süleymaniye back to history.
Yes, now let's all imagine the Istanbul of 2050. We are all going to imagine it together. The Istanbul of 2050. With all the variation of life exists with freedom and equality, where everybody lives good. That is our vision. A live, free city where everybody lives well. To achieve this proper life that Istanbul aims for, we have to develop in a planned manner, and in the light of our evaluation, unfortunately, we have to create a line. Of course, we shouldn't go over a population of 20 million. If we work on that with the strategical planning of Turkey, this is possible. In 2050, 20 million Istanbulites working together, learning from each other. This city is going to be the center for that. This city, Istanbul, who attracts people from all around the globe. This is a city where people are excited to be in. It is a rich city where people are wandering and where people imagine and hope to experience. In Istanbul, the youths are listened to and respected. And youngsters will join life with hope to create their lives in Istanbul. In 2050s, Istanbul is going to be a green, high-tech production center. In addition to its production, research, development and design is going to be part of the industry as well. This is a very important point for the culture of Istanbul. Istanbul of 2050 is going to be a global center for innovators and entrepreneurs. Sharing of information, the opportunities the infrastructure will be all around Istanbul.
Birlikte üretim yapması
Istanbul
için ortak düşünce
is going to be
buluşmaların kentidir.
the city of common thought and meeting.
Eğitim, sağlık, kültür ve sanat,
Education,
barınma,
health,
sağlıklı gıda,
culture,
herkes içindir.
housing is for everybody and is quality
Kentsel
in
yaşamın
2050s
birer
Istanbul.
parçasıdır.
All Istanbulites are part of the urban life and they can protect their own identities and live free.
Kaynaklardan adil ve eşit bir biçimde
The
pay alabilirler.
resources are shared equally and justly.
Barışın ve hoşgörünün
Istanbul
temsil edildiği
is
kenttir.
the representative of
Coğrafyanın
global
lideri ve
peace.
yol göstericisidir. İstanbul'un
Istanbul
sokakları,
is the
meydanları
leader.
ve tüm kamusal alanları kültürle, sanatla,
All the public
sporla,
places, parks
renkli
of
ve
Istanbul are
canlıdır.
colorful and lively with culture and sports.
Mutlak bir parçasıdır.
And all of the Istanbulites are part of this. They leave their mark on Istanbul. The squares and streets of Istanbul are designed for everybody. In 2050, Istanbul is a planned, developed city, continues to be a global center for economics. While city is increasing its economical power, it is also going to give the people a peaceful life. While people are walking on the streets or riding a bike or doing sports, they enjoy their lives. Traffic has stopped as an issue for Istanbulites, and transportation is the next level. The Istanbul of 2050 protects its unique identity and protects its heritage even though years passed. And the Bosphorus, Haliç, the islands, Galata, Beyoğlu, Eyüp Sultan, and many more are integrated, and the cultural legacy is always a part of the identity of Istanbul and Istanbulites. In 2050, Istanbul is a nature-friendly metropole. All the life is protected in the city. The nature and biodiversity of Istanbul is a part of its uniqueness. The Marmara Sea will be alive again. The streams will be alive again. And against climate change, the entire population of Istanbul, from the newborn to the most experienced, they will work together. The economics of the city, the opportunities and physical land are transformed justly. Now Istanbul uses its resources efficiently. It is a cyclical, sustainable city. It moves together against issues. They discover innovative solutions. And in any stage, Istanbul gives a democratic space and freedom to speech. And as the world's resources are draining, climate change and social injustice and war is what we are fighting with in this era. And even though we have these issues and negativities, all together, the entire 16 million Istanbulites, we are going to turn Istanbul into a more sustainable, greener city. And Istanbul is going to be an example to the world in many different ways. In 2050, Istanbulites are going to be happy and hopeful of the future.
eşitsizliğe karşı
And against
adaletin kentidir.
inequality, Istanbul is the city of justice.
Planı var.
Because Istanbul has a plan for the future.
Bu plana
Because
inanan
Istanbul has people that believe in this plan.
bugün sizlerle paylaştığım
Today,
ana
what I've shared with all of you, the Vision 2050 document,
ve bu ortak geleceğe sahip
if we can work together and
İstanbul'dan Türkiye'ye
reach for this common future,
adil, eşit,
this is going to be an equal
içerisinde bir yaşamın
with high welfare life will be achieved, and it is going to be a manifestation of that. And with democracy and development, we will move our city into the future, and this is a roadmap for us. Let's start this journey all together today. We will be inspired by our dreams, and we will improve Istanbul. And everybody who has worked on this 2050 document, especially the academics, NGOs, of course their representatives we have spent a lot of time with, and idea leaders, youngsters, women, everybody in our Istanbul, I would like to thank from my heart. Istanbul Planning Agency's young and dynamic team who are working day and night, all of our friends who have been working since we came into power, and the directors and all the workers and our colleagues in Istanbul Metropolitan Municipality, I would like to thank them. And Vision 2050, starting from today, this is our hope for the future. But I would like to also underline that this is just a start, and this document belongs to the Istanbulites. Istanbul Planning Agency belongs to Istanbulites. And I invite all Istanbulites to be part of this process. If we join together and collaborate, we won't have the threat of authoritarian leaders. This city belongs to people who live here, and for that I would like to thank you again in this meaningful day. Istanbul Planning Agency is inside the Atatürk Forest in Florida. I would like to share my gratitude to have you all here, and especially during these summer months, I am inviting every Istanbulite to our beautiful campus. I would like to greet you all with love and affection. Thank you very much. We also would like to thank you, our esteemed mayor, for his great presentation.